say when you move towards the realm of predictive analysis. What is predictive analysis? Where you are trying to predict a value. Okay, you are interested in trying in predicting a value on what can happen. Okay, correct. You're trying to figure out what can happen tomorrow. That's your predictive analysis. Okay, and then based on predictions, if you can prescribe a solution that's prescriptive, that's something which is still not that prevalent. We are still working primarily on predictive analysis, right? Now, why is it that data science or predictive analytics has become so popular today? See, if you have heard of the term business intelligence, how many of you have heard of the term business intelligence? Heard of the term business intelligence, guys? Yes, no?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Yes.
So
Yes.
what
Yes.
happens in business intelligence? You are trying to, you have some data, you try and clean and transform the data. Once the data is cleaned and transformed, you put into a warehouse. And then once the data is in a structured format, you try and generate reports with that data. Correct? You try and generate reports with that data, right? So any kind of reporting that you do is part of business intelligence, right? Till now, for the past 10-15 years, the businesses were focusing on what has already happened and why something is happening. So real-time cases and what has already happened. That's where reporting was a key area. And all the IT companies, we were doing a lot of reporting. Even now, there's a lot of projects where BI people work. They are trying to work with uh, creating reports and understanding how it can help businesses. Okay, but now this is not enough, right? Only reporting data is not enough. Now the world is changing. You want to have the competition is so much. We are generating so much data. The processing power is so good that now you want to utilize that. And then what you want to do is you want to come ahead, come up with ways and techniques where you can not just talk about how data analysis is happening. You're also talking about uh, what can happen tomorrow, and then you want to take a decision based on that, right? So if your customer can come up with a new business model tomorrow, you don't want to wait for that customer to come up with a business model tomorrow. You want to start taking a decision today so that you can you can counter their impact beforehand, right? Similarly, you don't want to have your customers leave leave your network, and then getting them back would be a major challenge. That's a more difficult task to do. Okay, so when you talk of data science, it's all about if you talk of data scientist profile, right? I'll just talk about this also in a while. So when you talk about data science, it's about predictive modeling, right? And how will you predict the values? How would you create a predictive model? To be able to create a predictive model, to be able to know what can happen tomorrow, what you try and do, you try and see the pattern in data. Your primary interest is to see what kind of patterns exist in your data, right? If you are able to figure out what kind of pattern exists in data, which means I told you, right? If you know that customers are asking for a lot of offers and those people move out, so if you see there are a lot of offers being, customers call you and they say, I'm looking for a certain offer, and they don't get that offer, they move out of your network. So you would not want that to happen. If you see customer has called twice or thrice for some offer, you try and give them some offer to retain that customer before he actually moves out, right? So something of that sort can again be a trend that you see. Okay, what are you trying to do in data science? In data science, or in as a data scientist, your primary job is to be able to solve a business problem. Okay, your job is to be able to solve a business problem. How do you solve a business problem? So for a given business problem, you will collect the data. Now, a lot of pre-processing of data will happen. Basically, you are trying to understand some kind of a pattern in your data. To be able to get this pattern in your data, what you try and do, you use something called statistical algorithms. Okay, now why can't we do this analysis manually also? We could do this manually also, right? I can just take a set of data and ask people to just look at the data and say that there's a pattern. But imagine if you have say 150 values, right? Say two variables only, variable A and variable B, and for these 50, for these A and B, you have some say 10, 20, 15, 20 values. You can see the values, you can see the pattern. If it is 50 values, you spend some more time, understand that there exists a pattern, correct? Yes or no? But if you had 100 variables, right? So until 100 different variables, and now you want to see the impact of these 100 variables on a variable y. Okay, there's an output variable, some output variable that you have. You want to understand how this output variable will change when these values change, accordingly. So if you have to do that, if you have to see the impact manually, humanly, it is not possible for us to do that, right? We need to use a lot of statistics. We need to do that a lot of times before we can actually get to this part. And to be able to get to this part, um, we will need a lot of effort, right? So we don't want to do that manually. You don't want to have a specific rule, because there might not be a specific rule here, correct? In that case, what you try and do, you use something called statistics or machine learning. Okay, so what is data science? Data science is the process wherein you have a business problem. You're trying to solve that business problem by understanding the patterns from your existing data, correct? And how do you find patterns from data? By applying statistics. More precise answer would be statistical algorithms, which is machine learning algorithms. So you apply machine learning algorithms on data, that gives you an output which is called a data model, right? This pattern is represented in the form of something called a data model. Okay, so the data model that you create, correct, is the output of a machine learning algorithm. Okay, and how do you apply this machine learning on data? You use various tools or platforms like R, Python, SAS, TensorFlow, so on and so forth. You have multiple libraries, multiple tools which help you apply statistics and machine learning on data. Are you all following with this till this point? How data science
Yes.
is different from data analysis, right? So data science, if you solve predictive analytics, that area of analysis of data which deals with predictive analysis is data science. The person who does that part is data scientist. And here we are concerned with what will happen tomorrow. We want to proactively solve a business problem rather than waiting for something to happen, correct? Everybody with me on this? And how exactly do you do that? Your primary job is to be able to create a data model. And to be able to create a data model, which is nothing but a patterns in your set of data, you use machine learning or statistics, and you apply machine learning on data using various platforms. Are we good till this point?
Yes.
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 Okay. So statistics actually is a very important component in a data scientist profile. Okay, you cannot become a data scientist without the knowledge of statistics, right? There was a myth there that you need to know only R and Python. So it's just the tools part that we are talking about. A lot of majorly it's about machine learning and statistics. If you don't know that, you will not be able to become a data scientist. Clear? Okay, now let's just move on.